set on Jersey, where I grew up, and it's kind of based on my childhood memories of growing up on the island, because it was like a really safe and idyllic childhood, and it has a really sort of great scenic landscape. But like, you know, a lot of places it's got its fair share of like dark stories as well, and there was one particular story called The Beast of Jersey, who was like a serial sex attacker who like terrorized the island through the 60s, and even when I grew up in the 80s, it was still a kind of, I don't know, it almost became like part of the folklore, and I was so struck by that as a child, the kind of how incongruous it was to live on the safe, quaint little island off the coast of France, but then you've got, you know, these crimes and these tragedies happening. So I started to think about using Jersey as a sort of mythical backdrop to a thriller where we could look at that duality, both of the island and within a family.
So you meet Moll at the beginning of the film, and it's her 27th birthday, and there's something quite in a way disturbing about Moll, because you see her quite numb, but underneath that layer you feel there's a vibrating, dangerous pulse to her, and she's trying to contain it. And throughout the film, she goes on a journey where that blister, I suppose, is lanced, and through love, and she dances between the danger and the moral kind of questions that come her way within the love story. So yeah, that's kind of what happens. But she grows in her rebellion, I think, against the numbness and conservative nature of what she's been told is morally right, and the way one should behave in society. And we all have dark shadows in ourselves that come out every now and then.
I've always been struck by how many anti-heroes we have in cinema. You know, some of the most iconic are like, you know, Travis Bickle or Michael Corleone or people like that. And I can't think of many or any in cinema when I think of anti-heroines. You know, and the ones that we do have, they come from literature. You know, whether that's Gone Girl, or it's Catherine from Wuthering Heights, or it's, you know, Carrie. I really struggle, you know, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I really struggle to think of like a genuine film original anti-heroine, and I thought, oh, that's really weird culturally. Why do we hem in female characters to be kind of, yeah, the love interest, or to be wicked, or to be saintly? And it seemed like a much more narrow box for female characters. So that was also in the back of my mind of like, well, let's try and do that and make a character that's got that complexity and is challenging, but you empathise with, and make them quite rich.
Honest to God, this was such an incredible experience to shoot, and I think, you know, for us both, it's both our first features, and we worked closely together before the filming even started, and constant dialogue. And Michael's what is so amazing about Michael is that he has very clear vision and of what the kind of story he wants to tell, but he's also very vulnerable and open to exploring things within the moment. And I think because the story was so raw, to have it for it to have been something quite controlled, we wouldn't have been able to get that elemental quality to the film. And you know, you want to come away from every job feeling like you've learned something and that you've experienced something together. And definitely Michael and Ivana, the producer, and all the crew created that atmosphere on set where we were really all just kids in a treehouse playing and trying to find something good.